What's up, peeps? I don't know what the message is today. I don't know what I'm supposed to say today, but I'm starting off a little rough. um, I came out here to make an inspirational video, just a short video, and then I was like, well, I might as well do a podcast when I'm out here, right? I might as well say something to the people while I'm out here. So anyway, I'm setting up the camera and stuff, and Jesus, Lord, bless this podcast. So I'm setting up the camera and stuff, and I clamp the way that I'm clamping the phone into the thing, I clamp it backwards. And so clamping it backwards presses all the buttons at the same time. I didn't know. Maybe this is good news for you guys, because now you know this and you'll have this information going forward. I didn't know that iPhones, if you press all the buttons at one time, it calls emergency services. I'm freaking out. I'm sitting here and it's like emergency services been down. I'm like, who the freak called emergency services? And for what? We're good. Everybody's good. And so there's like an alert that comes on the phone. This message comes on the phone. Like this whole thing is like, and I'm trying to press, and I'm like, I'm thinking emergency services is calling me. Whatever. Judge your mama. Don't judge me. I'm thinking emergency services calling my phone. Like, what? When did they start calling your phone? Like, when did they start calling? Hey, you got anything going on over there? All right, we just checking. We're a little slow over here. We just checking the neighborhood, see if y'all got anything going on over there. So I don't know. I don't know what thought crossed my mind. So anyway, yeah, I called the emergency services. I pray that I ended the call before it connected because there could be like a legit emergency out there. I'm playing around, not playing around. I definitely wasn't playing around, but I'm here pressing buttons and stuff. Listen, I'm gonna chalk it up. This is probably gonna be the first situation. I'm gonna chalk on 50. Like I'm 50. What? I'm 50. Nah, you can't say that because that's just dumb, Mario. Okay. I didn't know that. Anyway, took that crap off the phone because we don't need that. We don't need that. I'm pretty sure that since I had an iPhone, I've pressed all the buttons before, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what it is, but apparently this is what they have on the iPhone. So if you got to go on your phone, don't be pressing all the buttons because they go. You calling the people. Somebody showed up. The 911, the EMS, the police, somebody, the rescue squad, somebody. I don't know. I pray that the connect that nobody show up because they could be out there saving lives and really, doing what they do, doing what they do. And salute to them. Hats off to them. Hats off to them, first responders doing what they do because that's a tough job. I imagine it's a tough job. I don't know the details behind it. I don't know all the information. I don't think I need to know that it's a tough job. It's a tough job. So salute to them. And yeah, salute to them. May the Lord cover them in every situation, and cover the everybody in the situation. All of them. Lord, cover your kids, even the ones that press all the buttons at the same time. All right. Move on. Podcast. What is we talking about in the podcast today? Today, let's see. So sometimes I write down stuff, right? I write down little notes here, little notes there, little notes there, and I'll put, at the top, this is for video, this is for sermon, this is for podcast. Like, it varies upon however the Lord leads me in that moment. So this right here is a note that I wrote for a podcast. Oh, there's a couple. I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know where we're going and how we're going today, but we're going there. We're going there. We going. So let's go. Let's go. Let's see. That says video moving right along. That says video moving right along. Video moving right along. This probably supposed to be the video that I was supposed to make. Yep. Oh gosh, I think this was the video I was supposed to make. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. Let's go to podcast. Let's talk podcast stuff. Talk podcast stuff. This podcast has been going well. I think it's been going well. Nobody's watching it, but that's funny. That's funny to me. Nobody's watching the podcast, but I think it's going well. Well, man, how do you think it's going well if nobody's watching it? I think it's going well because I did what I was told to do. I was obedient. And anytime you're obedient, you don't control, well, you don't control, we don't control the results anyway. We control the obedience. And I was obedient to the voice of the Lord and doing what the Lord told me to do. So it's going well. It's going very well. Very well. It's very successful. All of that. I know a lot of people judge the success of a podcast by the numbers, by monetization, the revenue, and all that other stuff. I judge it based on obedience. God told you to do it and you did it. So anything that you're doing, whether it be business, whether it be ministry, whatever God has given you to do, if you were obedient and did it and began it and started, guess what? It's successful already. It's going good because you did it. Because you did it. Because you were obedient. The obedience is the success. She. Oh, that's good right there. The obedience is the success. The success is in the obedience. It's not necessarily, well, what the numbers look like and how many people watching. There are so many episodes of this podcast that has zero, zero, big fat zero order. But guess what? It's successful. This is a successful podcast because there are people out there who did podcasts that God didn't tell them to do it. Okay, 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 okay. There are things that and it might be monetized, it might be getting revenue, it might be getting this and cash in and all this other stuff in, but God didn't tell them to do it. He didn't tell them to do that. So I'm just saying, I'm just saying, this podcast, the Just Mario Podcast Plus, is that the name of it? Yeah. Well, sometimes you may see Just Mario 1023 Podcast Plus is successful. Why? Because we're obedient. I was obedient, and that makes it successful. Woo! The success is in the obedience. That's good right there. The success, I gotta write that down. Somebody need that. Somebody need that. I gotta clip that. The success is in the obedience. That's good right there, Holy Ghost. You gave me that. Thank you, Lord. Okay, so let's go. Let's go. We flip pages. We flip pages. Okay, son. So you just go like sit right here. That's what's up. Okay. All right, God. Thank you. It's a beautiful day. Yay, yay, yay. I don't know that song. When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sun shines on my face. Something, something, something without warning, love. Something, something, something else. Then I look at Jesus. Woo. And the world is all right with me. Just one touch from him. And I know it's gonna be a lovely day. I would have hit that the way I was supposed to hit that, but I'm outside and I got neighbors and stuff. They ain't ready. It's early. It's early. It's early. It's early. But I'm gonna clip that later and I'm gonna hit that in there. So let me I'm gonna mouth it and then I'm gonna hit that thing and clip that thing in later. Yeah. Okay. That was enough. So yeah, podcast. Where is the podcast stuff, Mario? Mario, it's me, Mario. Where is the podcast stuff? Where is the podcast? There's so many notes. So right. So this is what I wrote down. Let's chat about this. Let's chat about this. I control my response. I don't control them. I don't control what was said. I don't control what was done to me. I do control how I respond. My response either reveals or exposes who I really am. I don't control what was done. Excuse me. I don't control what was done, but I do control the response. How are you going to respond? What is your response? What is your response? What is your stance in the situation? You got to think about when things happen, when when situations come up where people do you dirty and people talk about you and got this going on and got that going on, what is your response going to be? What is your response? How are you going to respond? We have to decide on the response before time. Like you can't wait till situations happen. You got to decide your stance before times. How am I going to respond? How am I going to respond? Or especially when you know the thing is coming at you, what is my response going to be? What is my response going to be? Um, like I said, you can't control what people do. You can't control what people say. People gonna be people and they're gonna say what they say, they're gonna do what they do, right? But we control how we respond to it. We control if we give it life, if we feed it, right? Because anything you feed will grow. Anything you starve will die. So we decide if we're going to feed it and let that thing grow, or we're gonna starve it and let that thing die. It's that simple. It's that simple. What is your response going to be? And so don't only think about it in a negative light. Think about it in a positive light. What is your response going to be when the Lord blesses you? What is your response going to be when the Lord gives you something to do? What is your response going to be when God exalts you, when God lifts you up, when He levels you up to another level? What is your response going to be? It has to be premeditated. And I know we can't figure out all the details and exactly how we're going to do and what we're going to do and da 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 da. It can't be some of everything can't be premeditated. I get that, but most of the stuff can be premeditated. Because think about it, if it was negative, we already have in our mind. If they say, "I wish I would," right? This is the mentality some people got. I wish they would because they already got their response, and I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of that. I've sat. I told Oh God, I told the boy the other day. I said it was so funny. Let me tell you, this is it might be something wrong. It might be something wrong. I don't know. I'm gonna pray on it. I'm gonna talk to the Lord about it and see if it's something wrong on this side of the brain because it didn't come from this side, it came from this side. So anyway, I'm sitting there and Zori says something, and Zori says something. She says whatever she said. I envisioned earlier that day that Sonny was going to say that. So whatever she started saying, I envisioned earlier that day that Sonny was going to say, and I already had my response. And my response was to lay him out if he said this. My response was to lay him out if he said this. And so as she said it, the response came, and I cut the response. I was like, and that wait. That response wasn't for you. That response was for him. That wasn't for you because he was supposed to say it. And he was like, wait. You already premeditated a response for me saying something that you didn't even know that I was going to say. I said, yeah, because I figured you was going to say XYZ, and then I was going to lay you out with this right here. But it just so happened that you didn't say it. It's so crazy. I don't even remember what the situation was. I don't even remember what the response is, but trust me, when I hear it, that response is gonna come up. And of course, I can't respond like that now because it's premeditated. And why do you have premeditated anger? Why do we have premeditated negativity? Why do we already have a preconceived idea that things are going to go bad? This is going to go wrong. I'm going to have to lay them out. I'm going to have to do this. When clearly it could just be a misunderstanding. Clearly, clearly, it could just be a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. Yet we have a premeditated negative response. We got to do better. We got to do better. We got to do better. Let your premeditated response be a positive response. Because think about it, if you have enough time to create a premeditated negative response, you got time to switch that thing to something positive. You have time to invest in making sure that that thing is positive, that your response is something positive. I control my response, and I must be intentional with my response. I must be intentional with my response. God requires a response. He requires a response from us. And I pray that your response is yes, Lord, yes. I pray that the response that you give God is yes, Lord, yes. He requires a response from each and every one of us. There come various points in our life where God requires a response, where there's a question asked, where there's a situation that arises, where there's something that's requested of you to be done of you, and He's requiring a response. You got to respond. How are you going to respond? Ignoring Him is a response. Ignoring the call of God, ignoring what God is calling you to, ignoring what God has put on your life is a response. You can't skate by with just, well, I didn't say nothing. I just ain't say nothing. I know the Lord is calling me to do this and want me to do that and all this other stuff. And I just didn't respond. I just didn't answer the call. You gave him a response. You gave him a response. And your response was no. Your response was no. Sometimes we think we can avoid it by just avoiding it. We can ignore it, and we don't have to answer. We don't. You did answer. You did answer when you avoided it, when you ignored it, when you didn't respond to God. You gave him a no. You gave him a loud no. You gave him the worst kind of no. You gave him the no without saying no, and that was your response. So we have to know that we control our response. We control our response. Listen, I feel a shift here. What happened was I started recording this morning, and in the midst of me recording this morning, the phone battery was on like 10%, and I was outside. So the problem with me recording outside is that the sun comes out. And when the sun comes out, the phone be like, oh no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this in the heat. No, we're not doing this in the heat. And then the phone just dies. It just shuts down because it overheats. But I think today was the battery. I think the battery was the cause of that. But so what we initially intended to say this morning, what I initially intended to say shifted somewhere during the course of the day. But that was the main meat of what you were getting. You got that. You got that. But there's more. There's more. There's more. There's more. There's more. The response, and this kind of goes along with the response, with your response. Say it with me. I refuse to be in my way. I refuse to be in my way. Yes, sometimes we could be in our own way with our own thoughts or our own way of this is how it's always been. This is how I've always been. This is how I act. This is how I talk. This is how I do this. This is how I do that. And we could be in our own way because we're not willing to be flexible. We're not willing to bend. And do you know if you give God your yes, when you give God your yes, you got to be willing to bend. You got to be flexible in the spirit. You got it. God does not, He is not looking for somebody who is just like, nope, I'm going to do it this way and only this way. And if you don't do it this way, God, and if you don't require me to do it this way, if you don't set it up this way, then I'm not going to do it. No, you got to be flexible and you got to bend. You got to bend. You got to be flexible. He called you to pastor a church. Yes, you're going to have to pastor. You may have to pastor outside. You may have to pastor inside. You may have to pastor online. You may have to pastor in the inbox. You may have to pastor to one person. You may have to pastor to 100,000 people. He called you to pastor. He called you to preach the gospel. He called you to preach the gospel. You don't get to dictate how that's done. We don't get to dictate what capacity that's done in. We don't get to dictate, Lord, I'm giving you my yes, but I'm giving you my yes only under these conditions. I'm giving you, no, it's just yes. It's just yes. And you don't know what comes along with that yes. Trust me. Trust me. I didn't know what came along with my yes. I gave it to him. And then when stuff started popping up, I was like, oh, it's part of that yes, huh? Ooh, oh, this part of that yes too? This wait, how did this get to be part of the yes? This this right here part of the yes too? You gotta be kidding me. I know this ain't part of the yes. All of it's part of the yes. All of it is part of the yes. So you gotta take it. You gotta take it. When you say yes, Lord, yes, you gotta take the good, the bad, the ugly, and the better. And the better. Because we don't get to dictate how the process goes, the in between. We just give him a yes and trust him. A yes and trust him. I refuse to be in my way. I refuse to be in my way, blocking me from what it is that God has called me to do. I refuse to be in my way, stuck where I won't change. I can't change because I can't bend. I can't be flexible, and it's just got to be this straight way here and this and that. And I refuse to be in my way, and I refuse to be a hindrance unto myself. If I'm thinking my ways of thinking, then I can't adopt the mind of Christ. If I'm thinking, if I'm in my way of doing things, then I can't be the feet and hands of Jesus. I gotta get out of my way and into God's way of living this life. I refuse to be in my old ways. I also refuse to be in my way as a hindrance or distraction. I was in the way. I was in the way. I was the block. I was blocking myself. I was in the way. I was in my own way because I was in my own way. I was in my way because I was in my own way. Get out of your way. Get out of your way and get out of your way. You owe it to yourself to get out of your way. If God has called you to do something, 9 times out of 10, ain't nobody stopping you but you. Nobody has the power to stop what God has called you to do but you. And sometimes you don't even have the power to do that. Sometimes you can't even do that. But you can slow down the process. You can hinder the process. You can slow up things because you're in your own way. You're in your own way of thinking. It didn't work out the way that I thought it should work out. Nobody asked you to think about it. Nobody asked you to think about it. Nobody asked you to think. Nobody who asked for your thoughts? Who asked for your God never said, so what you think about this? So what you think? I noticed that. I noticed that. When God gives me stuff to do, he never says, so what you think about this? It's do it or don't. Now, you do it. That's a great thing. That's a great thing that you did. You don't do it. There's some stuff that comes along with that. Jesus, Jesus. As I'm saying this to you, I'm remembering early today that God gave me something to do. No, let's tell the whole truth. Yesterday, God gave me something to do, and I still have not done it yet. I've been dragging my feet on it. I've been dragging my feet on it for fear of the response, for fear of, here we go back to the response. I've been dragging my feet on for fear of the way that people are going to receive what it is that I have to give them. I got to get out of that. I got y'all pray for me for that. I got to get out of that because that thing could be rough sometime and it could really drag your feet on things because when you know people and then God give you a message to give to people, you're like, oh, you want me to tell them what? You want me to tell them that? Can I tell them something else? Can I tell them they about to get a car tomorrow? Can I tell them you about to send them a check for $100,000? Can I tell them something else? You want me to tell them that? But I'm dragging my feet about something. I promise to get it done within the next. I'm not even gonna say 24 hours, within the next 12 hours. Because of the hour, I can't do it right now, but I will get it done within the next 12 hours. That should be, no, it's less than that. Within the next 9 hours, I will get it done. Um, yeah, don't be in your way. Don't be in your way. Partial obedience is disobedience. Slow obedience is disobedience. God say, dude, you got to move swift. Swift. You got to trust him enough that, okay, God, okay. God say, go to the door, you go to the door. What are you thinking about? He said go to the door, but he didn't say what time to go to the door. If he wanted you to do it later, he'd have told you later. If he wanted you to do it later, he would have told you later. If he wanted you to do it on another day, he would have told you another day. It was necessary to do it that day. Jesus, I hope I didn't miss it. God, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. You got to be obedient. We got to be obedient. Let me tell you, this leads me to something else. I thought this was gonna be another video, but now we're gonna run right into this. Run head on into this. This is good right here. This is good right here. So I was thinking, and I probably said it early in this video. I don't remember because it was this morning. It was way this morning. So I probably said in this morning in the video how I make videos sometimes and nobody watches them. Nobody watches them. So sometimes that can be very discouraging for a content creator, very discouraging for somebody who does this and in being obedient to God. It's like, okay, God, I'm gonna do what you told me to do, and now it's gotta prosper. Now it's gotta do great numbers, and now it's gotta do all of this. And mm-mm. God revealed that thing to me today, and that thing hit me. It hit me. The success is in the obedience. Hmm. Jesus. The success is in the obedience. God is not concerned with the outcome. He controls that. He put us in charge of the obedience. The obedience. Society will have you focus on numbers. They will have you focus on likes, on follows, on subscribers, of customers, of memberships, money, status, just this and that. They would have you focus on the things that you can see, the things that other people can see. Think about it. It's things that other people can see. But God just wants to know, did you start the business? Did you start the podcast? Did you start the ministry? Did you enroll in the school? Did you make the video? Did you write the book? Did you move to the new city? Did you start the new job? Did you start it? Did you go into what it is that I told you to do? God is concerned with the obedience. He handles the outcome. We don't get the luxury of handling the outcome. Yet we're more focused on the outcome than we are on the obedience. We got to focus on the thing that we control. We got to focus on the thing that we have control over. And what is it that we have control over? We have control over the obedience. Same way we have control over disobedience. We control that. We control that. God said, do something. It's up to us to be obedient and do it quickly. The quicker you do it, the less time you have of doubt entering in, of you being in your own way, of somebody else trying to talk you out of it and tell you it can't work, it don't make sense, whatever it is. The quicker you do it, it's done. It's done. So, like, if God tell you today, start a podcast. Now we got a billion podcasters out there, and you're like, "But why does anybody want to hear what I have to say?" But if God tell you to say to today, if God tells you today, start a podcast, guess what your response has to be? Yes, Lord, yes. And you have to start it today. There's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason. God uses all of it. All of it. There's a reason behind it. The reason and the main thing that you control is I'm going to be obedient and I'm going to do it. I'm going to be obedient and I'm going to start the podcast. I'm going to be obedient and write the book. I'm going to be obedient and open the business. I'm going to be obedient and launch the ministry. I'm going to be obedient and whatever it is that God has called you to do. Be obedient. Whatever it is God has called you to do, be obedient and just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Don't worry about the details. And He didn't ask us to focus on the details. He didn't ask us about the details. The great part about that is He knows the details and He trusted you to do it anyway. He knew you wouldn't have money for it, but He told you to do it anyway. God is not schizophrenic. God is not crazy. He doesn't lack the knowledge. He doesn't, no, He knew. He knew. He knew the obstacles. He knew what you thought you to be lacking. He knew what you didn't have. He knew what you had. He knew all of the details of it. He knew. Yet He still told you to do it. So the only thing that you're responsible for is trusting God and obeying. That's it. If we would do more trusting and obeying, there'll be far less sacrifices, far less consequences, far less, I'm sorry, God, and then we got started later, and then we got to repent, and then we got to do trust and obey. You are called to trust and obey. That's it. You don't get to dictate how it's going to go, when it's going to go, why it's going to go, how far it's going to go. You don't dictate none of that. None of that is your business. None of that is your business. Your business, trust and obey. That's my business. Listen, you need to write that somewhere. My business is to trust and obey. My responsibility is to trust and obey. The process is on him. The outcome is on him. The process is on him. My responsibility is to trust and obey. That's it. That's it. Listen, this was good. This was good to me. This was good to me. I pray that it was good to you and that you got something from it. This is an interesting, this was almost a 12-hour podcast. It's crazy. Maybe even longer than that. It's crazy. But yeah, we're gonna chop it up and get it out to you guys. I appreciate those who do tune in, those who watch the clips, those who will tune in one day, because God is not wasting time. He ain't wasting time. He ain't wasting time. He ain't wasting my time. He ain't wasting your time. He ain't wasting his time. He ain't wasting time. So it's for a reason, it's for a time. So I pray when you get this, when this does get to you, that it will bless you and that it will help you along on your journey. Be encouraged. I love you all for free, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's me, Mario.